Okay, I am a few minutes early only in case I have to make any adjustments due to the fact that I'm doing a different program. So hello, Janet. Hello, Victoria. Hello, Jacqueline. How are you guys doing today? Hopefully sound and video is okay. I think I'm already in love with StreamYard, so that's a good thing. Yeah, I'm going to be doing more stitching today. On one thing, the chat over there, the text is bigger, so that's going to be a whole lot easier for my old eyes to see things. Yeah, I was going to try and do something else today, and then this week has already been crazy, and it's only Wednesday, and then one of the guys from the contractor came by to drop off the wood flooring and do some other stuff, and it's just been a day already, and it's only noon. So Victoria, what are you working on today? Janet, what are you doing? Jacqueline, I don't think I've seen you in my lives before, so welcome. Let's see, I wonder if this is going to make it any easier. Just going to do a little test here. I guess these guys are done, so let's see. That might actually, Hey, Brenda, I got your message. I have not had a chance to respond to you yet, but I will absolutely send you your thing. Oh, nipped off to go sort laundry. Yeah, I've got laundry outside drying, hopefully not blowing all over the deck because the winds are picking up like crazy here. A lot of the surrounding areas here are going to have power shut off later tonight in preparation for the bad winds and the heat and the potential for more fires. Hey, Mitzi, how are you? Happy Wednesday. I guess if I turn on some lights, maybe we can get rid of some shadows. That's not too much, is it? No, that's better. I did that yesterday. I did a lot of catch up yesterday. Ooh, I must have moved my lights and now they're all shining right in my eyes. Don't look up. Don't look up. Let's see if we can make some adjustments there. All right, that's a little better. Oh, you're making yo-yos. I just got a package of yo-yos from Valerie. I don't know if she's going to be here today, but I have to send her a note. It's the most wonderful package of yo-yos. Most of them are done, and then some little bits that I can make my own with. But I was so excited because I don't have any, and I just wasn't, lately trying to find the brain width to do much of anything out of my norm has been very difficult. For no other reason other than just, I'm out of habits. There's no habits anymore. Okay, trying to fix it so that my lights are not shining completely in my eyes. Do I need to bring the camera down? Let's see what happens. Don't get dizzy. I do this. So it's really interesting. I'm not going through another party for the video, and this actually might be doing a better job. Hi, Nettie. Haven't been able to see you for a while. I know you're dealing with homeschooling. Hi, Patricia. All right, all of you guys who told me to do StreamYard, I'm convinced. I'm already convinced. This is making a few things much easier. So yeah, you guys are going to get sick of me doing these, but I was chatting with a couple of other people this morning, and it's like, the crafting, the arting, all that stuff is supposed to help de-stress us and make us happy. And right now, just getting some of these done feels good. And I've been doing a lot of business planning because for me, this is a business. My art is a business. And so I've been doing a lot of business planning, and now I'm doing some video planning. So I've got a bunch of tutorials lined up for you guys, but I have the time to work on them. And so when I'm working on those, I just don't have time to start a new project and do it on a live. I don't normally do a lot of experiments for the first time on a live. I know there's people that do that, but I'm a little miscautious, and I don't normally do that. Yo-yos. What are yo-yos? If you have seen any of Anne Brooks' textile, she did the Sew for the Soul book and Sew for the Soul snippets. There are these, I don't have mine handy, but picture, let's see, do I have any fabric that might be the right size? Picture a circle, and then you stitch around the circle and you gather the circle up, so then you end up with this kind of flat gathered circle. And it's used in a lot. They make yo-yo quilts where they stitch the yo-yos together, and they use them a lot in any kind of textile art. Oh, Brenda, that stinks. That absolutely stinks. You know, I used to do the collage when I'm stressed, and I have a ton of tags and journal cards that just have book text on them that I want to work on. But for some reason lately, it is fabric and fibers that are bringing me comfort. So, which is why I need to do some other videos, because otherwise it's be like the last 10 videos on my channel will all be about me sitting here sewing these little things, talking, you know, whining about whatever. I just hope we don't lose power. They're going to shut off power tonight through Friday night. So it'll be, 48 hours probably. And, you know, I've got the freezer all stocked full of ice, and I've got the refrigerator packed, hoping that we don't lose things, but you never know. Foil. All just aluminum foil, Nettie, or different kinds of foil? You can do a lot of fun things with foil. I think it was Andrea did something recently where, I'm pretty sure it was her, you know, if you just glue the foil over cardstock, you can cut it with a punch, you can emboss it. I do that I put my leaves under foil and then do things with it that way. You can make if you have an embossing folder, you can emboss it. If you don't, you can, punch things out. You can do tracings of just about anything with the foil. Yeah, it is. It's just fabric collage instead of paper collage. But I need to use up, I've got like 3 boxes of paper scraps right now, and I want to use them up, but I just literally, I sat down and I looked at my piles of glue. I mean, this is nuts. I looked at my glue and it's like, oh, okay, what do I want to use? Oh, yeah, my glue sticks. Yeah. And I talked myself out of just about anything, which just told me, okay, you just need to settle. And this has been a week where I had to go a lot of places. So I had a long, icky dentist appointment, and we had doctor's appointments, and, and then we've had construction guys here, and it just always makes me nervous. I want to just stay in my little bubble here and not talk to other people in real life. I'd rather, I'm just nervous. I'm nervous about the virus stuff, and I'll be glad when and my husband had an eye doctor appointment. So both of us had medical stuff this week, and I've got one more next week, and I've got a visit with a friend this afternoon, and then another visit that I want to schedule with a different friend and a third friend that we're trying to work out a date on. So get those, and then, for the winter, I'm just going to hunker down. Oh, thank you, Janet. Yes, Suffolk Puffs. Oh, interesting, Nettie. Well, you're going to have fun experimenting with that kind of stuff. If you have any alcohol inks, you can paint on it probably. You could probably paint on it with acrylic paint too. I haven't done that, but I've only used alcohol inks on my foils. Yeah, it's funny. Suffolk Puffs, depending on where you live, or Yoyos. Same thing. I always think the British names sound so much better than our, American gruff stuff. What was the one the other day? I was watching a video, and Victoria, help me out. What is it? Procrastinating? Is it pathing, PF? Shoot, I can't remember, but I thought it was so much nicer than saying procrastinating. So much nicer. See, I don't like where these ends are even. I guess I'm in frame. So is stuff in focus well enough? I really need to work on this lighting thing. Hey, Beth, happy to see you. I had breakfast. I had toast for breakfast too. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've got not sure what the rest of this week is going to be like. I know after this today, I'm running out to see a friend and drop off some garden cuttings for her, because she had a bunch and then she had to evacuate with the fires. So they, didn't make it through the fire. So I could take her some cuttings. But gosh, there's been something going on every day. And I just, I need massive amounts of quiet time. I just can accept that about myself now. But I have been thinking about going live and showing my face and different things. I don't know whether I'll do it in a live or whether I'll do it in a new series that I'm thinking about starting. I was thinking about starting a series where it's just short videos, but I would, like I said, show my face. And it would be about creativity and overcoming the things that keep us from being creative. Hey, Lorna. Yeah, I didn't even have time to remind you. Oh, let's see if I can back up on the chat here. Yes, Janet, Anne is amazing. I binge watched literally every one of her videos. She was about midway through her book, and when I found her, I binge watched everybody. I'm not everybody, every one of them. I just could not get enough of her, and she's why I went looking for those wool scraps. Oh, good. Thank you, Patricia, for letting me know that focus is good. Oh gosh, Victoria, 2 more cases? Jeez. Tier 3 lockdown. Yeah. I wish that we were on it, again, just because things are on the rise in our areas. And, we talked to my in-laws the other day about, getting together. It's my husband's and my anniversary on Saturday. We usually get together with them for an anniversary dinner celebration, but we said, the fact that we've been out and about to medical facilities so much in the last week and a half, we just didn't think it was a good idea. Faffing. Yes, that's the word I wanted. Faffing. I just thought that was the best word ever. Oh, thank you, Brenda. Yes, please hit the like buttons. Interesting. That is one thing I can't see here in StreamYard. Not that it matters. I'll see it when it's done. Hey, Lorna. Yeah, Janet, she just really, even her instructional stuff, like I've never been, a super embroiderer, so it was really nice to see her instructional videos. I felt like I could handle it, like I could do something like that, which normally when I watch a lot of the textile art, I'm like, wow, that is just so beyond my capabilities. So I really liked that she made me feel like I could do it. Oh gosh, Lorna, that's bad. I know in one of our nearby towns down in Watsonville, they're saying the cases are on the rise, and that makes me nervous because that means then from Watsonville they go to Santa Cruz, and from Santa Cruz it comes up to us. And so that's why we're just really trying to get all our medical visits done, in the next week or two, so that we don't have, hopefully, we've got good bills of health and we don't have to worry about going out other than just the little grocery store. And if we get past this, potential power outage, Beth, if you're still here, I don't think any of us in Scotts Valley, but are out where you are you guys going to be subject to the power outage? Last I heard, it wasn't going to be anybody in our town, but of course that can change, and our power company could just hit the wrong button, and then all bets are off. Wow, these are going fast, having some of these laid out ahead of time. That was that was my thing, sitting here talking on the phone with a friend the other day. I just sort of laid out some of these that I wanted to stitch. So what do you think? Would you guys like to have maybe a weekly video about just creativity and being creative in these times? Or I guess if you were to see a weekly video, and I'm talking about like 5 minutes or less is what I'm thinking of. But since I used to do a lot of motivational speaking, I was thinking maybe I would start adding some of that stuff in on a once a week basis. I think that's probably more than I need there. Let's just take that little bit off and we can use it someplace else. Faffing and waffling. Yeah, I'm a huge faffer. And I'm trying not to be, but I'm also really lousy at sticking to a schedule, which is why things like, exercise are really hard. But I really would like to get a little bit better at scheduling my work time because, you know, I've got all these different areas. I've got the lives, which means thinking about something to do here. It means I've got the videos for tutorials that I want to do. I've got the digital designs, and then I've got actually making the art. And I don't balance my time well. So it seems like I do a whole bunch of one thing until I get overwhelmed or tired of it, and then I go on to something else. Yeah, I checked the office this morning. I saw on the community page that it didn't look like Scotts Valley was going to be affected, but I don't trust PG&E not to just, you know, make a goof and, oh, surprise, we're going to cut you off anyways. So the other day on my way home from the doctor's office, though, I went by this upholstery shop in town, and he's having this huge parking lot sale. And I was so good. I only bought 3 rolls of fabric. I did not buy like 25 rolls, which I might have done a few months ago. And it was very satisfying because I haven't, you know, been thrifting, and I don't know when I would go back thrifting again. I don't see that on my radar because I just don't want to go in any shops. But it was very satisfying just to stand out in the sun and look at the fabric he had out there. Yeah, Victoria, that's what I used to do is I thought, oh, the bullet journal is going to be for me. And I spent like a week setting one of those things up. And when I used to work in corporate, you know, they would have different, you know, the Stephen Covey plan and the this plan and the that plan. And they'd send us to classes to learn how to use this stuff. No, but I also know I can't keep all the stuff in my head anymore. So I'm getting my notebooks back out, and I'm not kind of planning, but I'm separating out my ideas, which used to be in just like 3 different notebooks. Now I'm kind of making them even more separate, just so I can take a look at what I want to do. Because right now, all my places where I sit and come up with ideas are covered with little Post-it notes. And, you know, so when you have literally, you know, 50, 60 Post-it notes, it makes it a lot harder. If I just put them all on a page in the notebook, I'm hoping that will help. We'll see. That is tonight's plan, is to work on the notebooks. I've been working on my videos, kind of going back and updating some thumbnails and working on the text and just kind of trying to dial things in a little bit more. But I need to get back to making actual journals because I have not been doing that lately. And I have the ones for the giveaway. I was going to work on the inside covers today. And again, time got away from me and it didn't happen. But they are, you know, I've added a few more pages to it, and we're getting close. Okay, this thing here, I need a different color thread. I am distracted. Yeah, brain dump notebook. That's it. But the trouble is that if I start mixing my video ideas with my project ideas, I get a little confused. So the Post-its are my brain dump, and I kind of want to organize them a little bit. And yeah, I could paste them in the notebook, but I think that would I have to have stuff has to be somewhat aesthetically pleasing to me. And I don't think that would be aesthetically pleasing to me because the Post-its are all in these fluorescent colors. Yeah, dating things, no, because it's enough that I remember to get, you know, doctor's appointments and birthdays on my Google Calendar. That's a really big deal for me to get that part done. In one theme to make a full journal. Yeah, and my trouble is, you know, I really think it's like Lorna says, we have enough stuff to keep us busy for quite a while. And I think I have the opposite problem. I have too much stuff. And so I wander around the studio going, okay, so what are we going to start on? And, you know, I've got to finish the giveaway journals, and I have another project that I have to finish that's an order, a big order. So I have to finish that because I would like to get paid for it. And then I will get back to work on my stuff. You know, and they'll all be nature journals because that's my thing, but there are variations on them. But I'm hoping tomorrow or Friday, depending on the schedule, that I will be doing eco dyeing. And I will film a basic tutorial, and then I will do a whole lot of stuff. I'm going to film 2 tutorials, I think, because I've got 2 different ways to show people things. And I've been looking at my old eco dyeing. I still get comments on my old ones. So it's like, I really need to do an updated one of those. Besides, I have all these leaves in the freezer, and I really need to get them out of the freezer. They've been in the freezer for almost 2 years. Yeah, Janet, I struggle with that. And, you know, and I'm better at it than I was when I was younger. But there's still that, you know, form over function. I don't know. If I cringe when I open the notebook, then I'm just going to close it back up again really fast. So what kind of things would you like in a 5-minute motivational kind of thing, or 5-minute creativity talk? What kind of topics would you like me to address? What kind of questions? I thank you, Victoria, for the list of questions you sent over, or topic ideas. That was really helpful too. I was going back through some of my old speeches I used to give and seeing, you know, there's a lot of creative stuff that I used to say to writers. It applies to art as well, of course. Yeah, Victoria, that's the thing I have to finish up, the glam project. They weren't able to do it this year, of course, because of COVID, but she still wants me to finish because we had a contract in place. So she still wants me to finish them and send them to her for another project. And then we'll see whether she's going to do it next year or not. It just sort of depends on how things happen here in the world. So that's what I have the journals, the patchwork parts done. I need to cut the inside covers and then stitch things together. And that was another thing I was thinking I might do on the live. So maybe I'll do that next week and get that finished off. And then I have another set, I'm sure I'm not alone in this, where I start something and I get it like so close to the end. It's like almost done. I just need to spend one more day on it. And then I go off onto something else. And if I would just finish those things and get them, shipped and sold and out of the house, I would, have like the monkey off my back, and I would be motivated to go work on something else. So November is going to be finish it for me. That's going to be my finish things. October is business planning. The rest of October is working on videos and continuing with my business plan, because I'm really trying to map things out for next year, quarter by quarter. Taking a look here. Catching up on chat here. Yeah, my problem with writing, the reason I write on Post-it notes is because they're small and they're everywhere. I've reached the saturation point where I pretty much have Post-it notes all over the places that I work. And if I stop and go someplace else, then I'm so easily distracted. I tell you, I walk in the studio to pick up something, it's like, oh, I want some more of this paper. So I go over to the paper tower in the studio, and then I look at what's on the island, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was working on that. I kind of want to go back and work on that some more. And I just get myself so easily sidetracked. That needs to be cut down. Let's see, what else do we have here? Well, I have white thread. Maybe we can do this one. Yeah, that's it exactly, Lorna. They just sit there staring at me until I, make myself take the next step and get in there and finish things, which is nuts because it feels so good to finish. I mean, come on, we all know that. It feels great to finish projects. So how many of you start a journal or a project of any kind, and you actually can see it through from start to finish? It's like you have all the materials, you're ready, you just kind of get into it and work until it's done. And how many of you are like me and you just sort of get 3/4 of the way there, and then shiny object, and you go someplace else and work on something else. Oh, Brenda, that sounds burr. No, thank you. It's been so, I want it to be cool. I want it to be spring and fall all year long, which, I mean, we don't have really bad weather here, but I'm tired of it being hot. I don't do hot better. I would rather have the cold weather. We had a couple days last week where it was nice and cool, and the air quality was nice, so we could leave the doors and windows open the whole time. It was awesome. And now we've got the air conditioning going today, and the wind. So when I walk outside with Zoe, the wind just sort of takes your breath away when it's a hot wind like that. I think next week I'm going to try putting my iPad over here so I can read the chat at a different angle. It might help. Oh, Brenda, so that's great. You can make yourself go all the way through. Wow. I admire that. I've never been like that. I mean, even, in school, it was always, wait until the last minute and then go work on something else and then come back and finish, when it would be so much faster if you could just go all the way through. But my brain just gets so easily distracted. I go down in the yard with the dog and I see a really neat piece of wood and I pick it up. And so then I come back up top and I want to, reorganize all my wood scraps. And I really need to move all my outdoor collected items need to get moved into the garage. But that means this weekend I really need to work in the garage trying to organize it because we still can't even really walk through it. And then I have my laminator that I got like 6 months ago, and I'm dying to laminate a bunch of my dried leaves and flowers. And haven't done that yet. So the to-do list, so long. Yeah, I think a design team project, that's true. You are working for somebody else, which is why I have to be very careful on my commitments, because I know it's a weak point for me, that follow through. So I try not to overcommit myself. Okay, I'm liking the fact that I had these things laid out ahead of time. So I think that's something I can do in the future, just to remember for sitting and chatting on the phone. The nice thing about, I'm sorry I'm doing the same thing every week lately, but the nice thing is I have a nice stash of these built up, and I should be able to offer some of these for sale soon. Oh, and thank you, everybody that helped me figure out there was an issue with my newsletter, signing up for my newsletter last week. So there's something funky going on with the programming at MailChimp, and so we were able to use an alternate sign-up thing and got all that fixed, but I would not have known had you guys not told me, so thank you for that. Oh, Beth, so my problem with the sections is, then what if you fill up one section and then the rest of the book isn't full yet? Then you start a new book. So I had acquired a whole bunch of, they're not moleskin, like the expensive fat moleskins or those cardboard cover ones. Cahier, I think. And I think I'm just going to put one for video ideas, one for design activities, that kind of stuff. I think that's the plan at the moment. But first, I've got to take over the kitchen table and just kind of lay everything out and see. Absolutely, Victoria. You absolutely cannot concentrate on anything else when you're worrying about the safety of your family like that. And people understand. I mean, everybody, we put more stress on ourselves. I mean, I know, because you guys always talk me off the ledge when I'm, stressing out about stuff. And you can't. You have to just concentrate on family. I mean, my design team, is very laid back, and people, work at their own pace, and I don't require, anything to be done at a certain time or what have you. And I'm really glad I set it up like that, because some of them want to work through the stress, and others, they need to concentrate on taking care of family or just their own mental health, which is not doing a design team thing. I think I would be absolutely terrified to send a kid out to a school where they kept having these cases. And you can be responsible for your own actions, but if you have to be in a place like that where you have no control over the actions of these other people out there that you have to be with. Oh, Brenda, that can be very scary to encounter the beasts out on your walk. Do you have a small dog? Because boy, one of my friends here was out with her dogs, and her little fit in the palm of your hand kind of dog got picked up by a coyote, and he took off with it, and they were able to, get him to drop it and get him to the vet, and he actually survived just fine. But oh, that's terrifying. We have the coyotes wandering up and down our road, but I don't think Zoe's at risk because of her size. Of course, she's inside the fence line. We don't have her wandering out loose, but if I had a little dog, I would be very worried. Oh, so you have a big dog. Akitas are something else. Boy, if that Akita decided he wanted to chase the coyote, you'd be dragging along right behind him, right? They are stubborn dogs sometimes. Big old teddy bears, though. She's a medium size. Okay, so. Oh yeah, Beth. I mean, all over the place. It's amazing the sightings that people are saying. We often hear the coyotes here. We don't see them as much where we are, but we do hear them. And of course, the owls and the raccoons and the possums and who knows what else. I really want to get some trail cams set up, because we've got, one area that I think there's got to be a lot of traffic of critters that we just don't see in the middle of the night. Yeah, and I bet the old golf course does get a lot of the animals. I think one of the things that's attracting me about playing with these things is my dyed fabric. So I need to think up some more stuff to do with my dyed fabrics, because every time I look at them, it makes me happy. So our materials that we're using should always make us happy. And if they're not, well, then that's why they're in my de-stash box. When I realized some of the stuff was like, But it's funny is I have a bunch of this fabric that I dyed with the Bombay India inks, and I thought, oh no, I won't be buying any more. And now I'm looking at how pretty the fabric came out, and it's like, oh wow, it's really tempting to go buy some more stuff, some more India ink, even though I have lots of other things to dye my fabric with that'll be permanent. But I had to catch myself. It's like, no, you don't need any more. You're fine with what you have. Actually have a bunch of Derwent, or however you say it, Inktense blocks. And I've done a little bit of dyeing with them, and I want to do some more because they're nicely permanent. Yeah, strong like a bull. Oh, you have black bears. Wow. Yeah, Canada, much more wilderness than we've got here. Geez, I like that one. So Janet, you're able to, if you're still here, I know you're at work and you're trying to carve time away, you're stitching Are you doing a slow stitch journal, or are you just stitching for the joy of stitching right now? To put you on the spot. Is your dog a cuddler, Brenda? One of these days I'll have a dog that's a cuddler, but Zoe is not. She'll give me maybe 5 minutes of snuggling up, you know, partially next to me. She won't be like right next to me. And then it's like, nope, I'm done. That's enough love for you. No more. Okay. I obviously just put these together and didn't really. Piece of suede. I like that. What colors are you working on, Nettie, for the wedding journal? Yeah, Victoria, what is it about not wanting to get messy? I don't get it. I absolutely don't get it. I have not cleaned off my painting desk, and I don't know why I haven't cleaned off my painting desk, because maybe when it's cleaned off, I won't have an excuse not to get messy. But I'm going to try and get messy tomorrow or Friday and do some jelly printing. I think that'll be a good step. It's an outdoor mess. Oh, I'm glad you did your seaweed stuff. Awesome. Yeah, stitching for the joy of stitching. And that's kind of what I was trying to get myself to organize this week, was just to have like one basket that just had a few things in it to stitch. Kind of, oh, you might like, Janet, you might like the Stitch Meditations group too. I will send you that link later if you don't know about it already. But that's kind of how I got back into stitching again, was I started with that group. It was way before Anne's things popped up. And this is kind of, these little things are kind of like an offshoot of the Stitch Meditations. Yeah, Zoe is very much the routine. I mean, she's like, okay, I know when we get up, I go outside and then I get to eat breakfast. And at 5 o'clock, she knows it's, you know, dinner time. So whatever it is I'm doing doesn't matter. At 5 o'clock, you're supposed to stop and do dinner. And after dinner, there are, you know, not one, but 2 trips outside. For some reason, it's got to be 2. And after she's done that, she'll come and I'm usually sitting on the couch, and she'll put half her body on the couch and, you know, front legs on the couch and back legs on the floor. And she'll nuzzle at me for about 5 minutes. And then it's like, then I'm done. Then she goes to sleep. Yeah, I'll send you the link. There's a Facebook group, and Liz Kettle, is it Liz Kettle or Kettleman? I think it's Liz Kettle. Yeah, she's got Instagram. She's the one that founded Stitch Meditation. So she's got a website that talks about it and a little intro video. And it's basically, the idea is just grabbing, I don't know that I actually, okay, here's one of my stitch. This is a longer stitch meditation. It's not done yet, but just grabbing a square of fabric and stitching to it. Just, okay, here's a couple of mine. Here's one of my stitch meditations. It's nothing fancy. It's just, here's a square. Now I could decide to do, now that I've seen Anne Brooke, I might come back and do a bunch of embroidery around this and then put that on the front of a journal. But I just pre-cut a bunch of squares, different sizes, and I have a whole, I'll send you some stuff later. This was when I started, except that rusted fabric is really, really hard to stitch through, so I didn't enjoy it. Here's another one. Stitch meditation. It's just got part of a tea bag and some little bits of fabric. I think that's all I have here. This was just me starting to play with one. It's like, okay, I have a square. I have a square fabric and I have these colors here. You know, what am I going to do with them? Maybe I will, you know, and you could stitch them down like this. And again, you could then do more or less. You could layer these up. I think I kind of stopped doing it because I felt like my brain, I didn't have ideas, didn't have good ideas. But now after watching Anne, I have more ideas of things I want to do with them. So I really enjoy that. I've got a whole bunch of, let's see, what else? Oh, this is all my in progress stuff. This is one of my little landscapes, and I got the bright idea I was going to fill this with French knots, and that's going to take me a long time. But at least I found this, and now I can get back to work on it. Okay, Victoria, I have a story. I wanted a bunch more. I had a couple of Brushos, and I had some Lindy sprays, and I wanted more. And I decided, I was going to go ahead and order the shakers, but because it seemed to me, because I'm a klutz, I thought the shakers would be a little bit easier, like the Brusho where you can put the pin in them, the push pin. You know that trick? You put the push pin in the Brusho, and then it becomes a shaker. And I didn't want the Lindsay's, little jars. I wanted the colors that were in the jars. So I bought the shakers. And so I made a big order. I went to lindys.com. I made a big order. I ordered all the colors I wanted. I ordered all the shakers and lids so that I could, transfer the Lindy's to it. The stuff came and it sat for 6 months, and I still have not put them in the shakers. I colored some paper finally with the stuff when I opened it, and there was some like leftover color thing there, but I don't know. It's the getting messy thing. Because they make beautiful papers. It makes beautiful colors. It makes great patterns on things. And yeah, I don't know. So jelly printing doesn't appeal to you, Brenda? I would say yet. But, some people are not paint people either. I can't paint or draw realistically. And I will preface that by saying, I have I have several friends who are fine artists, and they say it's not that I can't, it's that I won't spend the time practicing. And I will say they're right. I'm not willing to put in the time, so I don't do realistic kind of like painting. So I shied away from paint for a long time, other than just trying to get colors on a page for art journaling. And then when I started realizing what I could get texture wise with stuff, I got real excited. Because I love texture. And then when I started playing with leaves on my jelly plate, then I got excited all over again, because you could get just some beautiful leaf prints. So it might be that you never want to do it, but it might be something that evolves over time. Yeah. I haven't tried them on the jelly plate. What I ended up, I had to actually have a talk with my husband and say, okay, here's this issue I'm having about making messes. And I think part of it too is because, we're working on this house and we're doing a lot of renovations. And, normally I do all my painting in the living room here, which is, I have another desk that's at a right angle, the one that's covered with all the stuff. It's at a right angle from this desk, and another desk just like this at a right angle, and it faces out the window. So I have a beautiful view. And normally that's where I would set up my jelly plate and do all that kind of work. And the carpet in here is ancient. It's like 30 years old. It'll be the last thing we replace after we're done with everybody traipsing through the house. And for some reason, all of a sudden I'm like, oh my gosh, what if I get stuff on the carpet? And then I look in the studio, and I've got this beautiful bamboo floor that we paid a lot of money for. I've got this beautiful studio space. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh gosh, what if I get something on the floor? And so my husband had to kind of talk me off the ledge and say, look, this is your space. You worried about that beautiful piece of wood that's on your island. And what about, when you get nicks and cuts in it, and it just makes it look more like an artist space, and that's getting some use out of it. But it's a psychological thing, and I'm not quite sure what it is. Hey, Patty. Will you go shopping for me too while you're there buying groceries? We need milk and bread. Yeah, I love my jelly plate too. And I keep saying maybe. I think the other thing is I have to recognize I do not work as fast as I used to. And that's okay. It is not a race. You do not have to get anything, unless you have a contract that you're trying to honor, with somebody. You don't have to get anything done in a particular time. So, yeah, have fun with what you're working on and don't stress about it. And you guys tell me that again when I need to be reminded of it. I cannot do in 1 week, I cannot do eco dyeing and jelly plate and business planning and do tutorials. And I've got a new video that I am working on about the copyright free images, public domain stuff for you guys. And I'm wanting to do it right because I think it's one that can really help my channel. But I need to spend the time on it. And I used to, in older years, I would be able to say I do all those things in 1 week. Now I'm thinking, okay, that's a month's worth of work for me. But then the other thing happens when I get the jelly plate out and I start doing jelly prints. That's all I want to do for a week. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just want to cave in and say, okay, I'm going to escape into that and do more of the jelly printing. And then I'm going to stress out about what I'm going to do with all the papers, which means then I'll be time to make some journals. I don't know. I'm rambling all over the place, you guys. Sorry, not sorry. This is me. This is kind of who I am. This is what it's like for my poor husband to listen to me go from idea to idea. I mean, I still have scanning. I bet Lorna's all done with all her scanning, right? And I'm still scanning stuff that I'm so behind on. Gina, hello. Are you all unpacked in your beautiful new house? I hope. I haven't checked any recent pictures lately, but gosh, it looked gorgeous. Martha, hello. So glad to see you here. Yeah, I need to do a drop cloth. I need to not worry about it so much. I need to just basically get off my duff and do it, right? I can tell you guys to get up off your duff and do it, but I can't do it myself. Victoria, the same thing when I got my very first, I did Fabri-Tac on my wood island. There's this beautiful wood that has, a thick coating on top of it to protect it. Well, it's not going to protect it from the acetone-based Fabri-Tac. And I sat down and cried, for quite a while. It's like, and then I legit was thinking, okay, well, can I afford, it's ridiculous. It's a 6-foot-long island. I can't rationalize buying another piece of wood, having the cabinet guy, do all that all over again. But yeah. And now I tell myself, okay, yeah, it's a working artist place. Well, Martha, we already know that we're twinsies. So, my husband has to do the same thing. And then he's so conditioned to solving my problems that when I signed on, today for StreamYard going on a different way, some of the things didn't work the way I was expecting them to. So I started talking to myself and he was like, getting ready to go into a meeting, but he was ready to come in here and start solving I said, no, I'll figure it out, which I did. But yeah, thank goodness for indulgent husbands, right? Yeah. Brenda, if I've dumped a whole bottle, and I guess, I don't know. I still don't know why it is. What's the thing against mess making right now? So Gina, I want to know, what is your favorite thing in your new home? Is it your big craft space or being out in the country? I was so excited for you when I saw those pictures. Martha, are you arting today or are you doing all your ideas? We're going to have a powwow session soon, right? Wow, I can't believe I'm zipping through these today. This feels good. I'm going to definitely have stock. And then I have to decide okay. See, I stopped myself. I think so much. Okay, if I'm going to put these in the shop, do I sell them one at a time? That doesn't seem to make sense. So I put them in a package of 3, a package of 5. Do I offer them in several size packages? I know we talked about kits, and I am going to do the journal kits. And that's another thing on the list, is making time to lay out all the kits, which has to happen on the island when I can spread everything out. But gosh, these little things make me happy. It's so crazy. It's the littlest thing, and it makes me so happy. Oh, Victoria, it doesn't matter. It's the weirdest thing how something like that will set you off. I mean, I had the painters out here, 2 weeks ago, and they were doing all kinds of stuff. And I forgot to have them patch a few holes in the wall in the studio because we moved some things that were hung on the studio. And, I can patch them, but when I paint, I don't blend as well with the painting as they do. And I wanted to cry about that. I mean, it's something that hits us, especially right now. All our emotions are so raw. But yeah, 3 years ago, it might stay with you. It might stay with you. I would love to find a glass chopping board because then I wouldn't be tempted to buy one of the Tim Holtz glass mats because I don't think I need one of those big things. I need to go look for a glass chopping board because I love to do my distress sprays on glass and then smush my papers all over it. You have stage fright, Gina? Is that why you haven't been posting any videos lately? Is it just the whole, well, you went through a major thing. I mean, building a house from scratch, that's huge. And then you moved into it and everything's different. But gosh, you need to do some videos so we can see some more of your beautiful journals. Gina makes the most beautiful carpetbagger type journals with these wonderful stories behind them. I love it when there's a story behind the journal and you feel like it's a glance into somebody's life. It's not just, putting papers together. There's a reason for the journal. I need to add something here, and I don't know what that something is. Okay, so I'm going to go looking. Thank you, Victoria. I'm going to go looking on Amazon for a glass cutting mat because, yeah, I can't justify. I like a lot of Tim Holtz stuff, but I support him enough in other ways. I don't need to buy the glass mat. We all have issues. I mean, I think I told you, was it last week or the week before, where I had a comment where somebody, in one of my videos, like, I can hear you breathing. I'm like, okay, well, I'm doing a video. I'm right next to the microphone. Yeah, you might hear me breathe. She was very upset that she could hear me breathing. And, the videos are for, yeah, they're to help us sell our stuff, but they're also to show the community how creative you are and to inspire somebody else. You never know, your video might be the one that inspires somebody else to try a new technique, to try a new color palette, to experiment with a new tool. We just have to get those darn thick skins. I realize since I've been doing a lot of work on optimizing my channel the last, couple of weeks, my journal flips always get thumbs down, always. My other videos get, I'll have 100% likes, and then you go to my journal flips and they've got thumbs down. And I'm like, wow, I hadn't noticed that before. That could really, send me into a tailspin. But it's just for whatever reason. I mean, I think I'm glad if they don't tell me why they don't like it. I'd rather just have a thumbs down. They don't need to tell me whatever it is. I don't want to hear it. But in terms of YouTube, they just look at that as interaction. Somebody's interacting with you, and that's good enough for them. I'm going to keep piling stuff on here until it feels like it's something. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right. Oh, because these threads are kind of even, huh? Let's make these a little. And Gina, I've done a couple of short little videos in the last year, but mostly it's been these lives because I fell into the trap of, everybody and their brother is making, journaling cards, and everybody and their brother is making tags. And why should I be, make one more version of the same thing? But it's your twist on it. It's your twist. And you put so much heart into your journals, Gina. We want to see them. I want to see them. Yeah, what is it, Lorna, with the thumbs down? I don't get it. It's ridged, obviously, for safety when, oh. So is it ridged on both sides, Victoria, or is it like flat? Like if you wanted to do your sprays and then smush your papers over it, does it work for that? Yeah, I know. How dare I breathe? How dare I breathe while doing a video? It's crazy. I am scanning back here over chat. Sell them in packs or make little packets of stuff. Okay, I forget about the delay. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's hard not to feel the pain, you know, when somebody gives you something negative like that. But the thing is, if you're building a community like we are here, you know, and I know I can pretty much count on some of my regulars here every week, and I believe me, I do count on seeing you guys. I know I can come here and say, "Wow, you know, this negative thing happened, and you guys are going to lift me all back up again." And it's the same thing, you know, you've got your groups where you hang out, you send a message to a friend on Facebook and say, you know, this thing happened to me and it's really affecting me, and can you kind of help pick me back up again? But I'm much better about it now, you know, in my 60s than I was in my 30s. In my 30s, I would have just cried and cried and cried. That would have been it. There would have been no consoling me. My husband would have been wondering how he could fix it for me, and I would have just cried and cried and cried. And I think probably the first, I don't know, 50 videos I did, I was kind of like that. It's like, oh, somebody doesn't like this, I'm horrible. And now I was going back and looking at my old videos and trying to decide, you know, some of them I'll redo, and some of them it's like, nope, that's just part of my growth. It's good to see how we grow, you know, on the platform. It's a very different way of presenting our stuff, and you don't see somebody face to face while they're flipping the pages of the book, so you're not getting the nuances that would come from that. But I think if you have a good support system, and Gina, I know how much of a support system you have with your husband, and you have me, you know, you do it and get back out there, because gosh, you do beautiful work. Okay, good to know, Victoria. Thank you. I'm going to go looking for that. Oh, Janet, yeah, and you know, you're still, you know, you haven't done enough. You don't have critical mass yet on your video making, so it's going to happen. And even now, I have to do another one of those, like the copyright free images where I walk you through stuff. And whenever I do those, I always have to redo them 3 or 4 times. And those are the few that I do editing on, because I stutter step. But really, if your enthusiasm for whatever it is you're doing comes through on the screen, I think I want more brown thread. That's all that matters. That's the most important thing. If people can see you, see what it is you're wanting to show them, and they can hear you, and they can hear the authenticity of what it is that you're sharing, because that's what we want. It's all about connecting. You know, whether we are, you know, if I wasn't sewing and you were just sitting here staring at my face and we were chatting, you know, it'd be the same thing. You know, it's all about connecting. You know, I stutter step here, I repeat myself, there's dead silence, there's all kinds of issues. You guys don't judge me for that, or if you do, you don't tell me about it, and I appreciate that. Hey, Mona, welcome. Happy to have you here. Thank you. These are my little nature clusters, and I'm calling them my little meditation pieces, because they calm me down to be working on them, and they're nice and flat, and they fit well in journals or on envelopes or Happy Mail or what have you. I know, Martha, it's in the past. I mean, that's one thing about getting older, right? We should have some perks for getting older, is that kind of stuff doesn't get to us as much. You know, sometimes I think I spent my 30s and 40s crying all the time. It was just like, whoa, less in my 50s, but my 30s and 40s, there were a lot of tears. Thank goodness for our indulgent husbands that put up with us, right? Yeah, Martha and I have decided that we are twinsies. We are so much alike, which is a whole lot of fun to grow a friendship with someone that you share so many things with. You share the same point of view on stuff. And, you know, the COVID has been crap for a whole lot of other stuff, but it's been really great for enriching relationships that maybe you didn't think were going to deepen into anything else. The online relationships can really do a lot to kind of pick you back up again. I mean, yeah, when you're fighting the trolls, when you're feeling depressed, when you're feeling like nobody cares about what it is you're working on, when you just spilled Fabri-Tac all over yourself, you can come to your online groups and they understand, they get it. They're like, oh, I've been there. I had this thing, like we all sharing horror stories. Let's see. That's a little better. Gotta hydrate here. Wait a minute, I was looking, Gina, what were you saying? Exactly, Janet. It's all part of your growth. You know, and it's true. And I know I've said this before in a stream, and I'm going to say it again, is people come to your stream, they come to your channel to see your video because you know something or you've done something that either they want to do, they want to get better at doing, they want to see your angle on it. And so they're already looking at you as a little bit of an expert for them. And they want you to succeed. They're not coming there saying, oh, I'm coming over here to watch Susan fall on her face. It's like, no, I'm coming over here to see what Susan's doing because she's going to inspire me to be brave enough to go off and do something on my own. And it's just part of your growth, is to realize that your value in the community is to share your knowledge and inspire somebody else. If you have not watched the Seth Apter, Tim Holtz conversations, you need to go do that. You need to go to Seth Apter's blog and find his conversation where he and Tim Holtz talked about just that you have an obligation to the creative community to share your creativity, because your video, your stumbling over your words video, your video where you go, I don't know, and I can't remember, and the blah, blah, that particular video might be just the one that clicks for somebody else that's sitting in the room saying, wow, I really want to try this and I'm scared. And this person showed me I can do it too. Sorry, that's kind of my rant there. Gina, you are almost finished with a king-size vintage quilt. Ooh, I want to see a picture of that. At least send me a message or picture of what you're working on, okay? I don't know that I would ever be brave enough to, well, y'all know I don't do clothes. I don't sew clothes. I don't think I could sew anything for the bed, but I would like to think maybe someday. Exactly, Victoria. It keeps it real. Whether it's a live stream, whether it's a craft with me, we watch some people just to sit down and watch them work, which is the point that I'm hoping to get to, where I can just kind of do like Gail does, just turn on the video when I sit down to work in the morning. And I'm almost there. Not quite, but almost there. But we need to realize that, we're all at different levels, and whatever level you're at is cool. And it's going, don't edit out your mistakes. It's hard if you watch a lot of, like I do, a lot of YouTube growth channels, like how to grow your channel and how to get more of this and what have you. There's a lot of good knowledge in there, but for our kind of stuff, I'm not going to edit out my mistakes. I mean, if I'm teaching you how to do something like navigate, the Library of Congress, I am going to edit out my mistakes because I have to make sure I'm giving you factual information. But if I'm making a craft and I open my Fabri-Tac and spill it all over the table, I'm not going to edit that out. I'm going to show you, hey, this is what happens. This is real life. Because people want to see themselves in what it is you're working on. They want to feel like, okay, they're a regular person. I mean, if it's somebody that does a lot of precise measuring, and there are people that that's the way they work and their brain works that way, and more power to them. That's not the way my brain works. But if you watch that and you're the kind of person like me that doesn't measure and is not super precise, it may not be as empowering for me to watch that kind of person. But if we are of a like mind and we're both people that just sort of wing whatever it is we're working on, and you watch me, dump, what is it? In one of the streams, I dump my water all over my laptop. If I dump glue, if I dump my coffee that I'm drinking all over it, and you say, wow, that person is just like me, it just sort of gives you a little confidence. And Gina, I am going to nag the heck out of you if you don't get back to doing videos, because you had enough time now to get unpacked. Now that you're moved, you have enough time to get unpacked and get back to making those. Yes, mistakes and all. Yeah, I don't add music because I can't, mostly because I turn music off when I'm listening to it in videos. Oh, so a quilter first. Wow. Yes, I want to see pictures for sure. Nettie, right. If I wanted perfection, I would have found a completely different hobby. Exactly. You know, and it's like that old saying about, you know, the cracks are where the light comes in. That's what it is when we see people that have some kind of an issue and we see how they handle that issue, you know, it makes them more real and it lets their light shine. And then it gives us, you know, if I can shine my light and help you realize you have a light you can shine on somebody else, that is like all kinds of awesome for me. That is my, what do they say, my jam. I never quite understood where that one came from, but that really gets me excited. If I can get somebody else to say, wow, now I believe I can go do it too. When I was teaching writing, that was my favorite thing, is to hear somebody say, oh, wow, you know what? I think I can tackle this book now. I think I know what I'm doing. This one's kind of bigger than I would normally do it. Do we want to do that? Maybe we want to do that. I don't know. Let's try. Let's see. Yeah, I love seeing where people, you know, mess something up and then they show us how they get around it. This is too big. I do not like them that big, I think. Oops, I want the smaller piece. When I shred things, when I try to fray the edges, I don't necessarily rip all the threads apart. I like to have them kind of hanging off the edge. And so, of course, I keep making these things, and my little stash of these materials, they're not going down. They just keep growing somehow. It's kind of plasticky, but if it'll fit on there, it adds something. I love this. This little bit of sisal, I think it's called, or sisal, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, S-I-S-A-L, is like one part of a braid from a macrame plant hanger that I think I've probably had since I was in high school. It just was like shoved in, it was shoved in a box with a bunch of other stuff. And I realized if I cut it apart and frayed the edges, it looked really cool. Everything gets used, right? Everything gets used. Exactly, Martha. To have somebody say you inspired them to try something. The other thing I think that stops us is something I think I said earlier. It's like, why should I do another journal on such and such because somebody just did it? I happen to know that Martha just posted a video on her eco-dyeing experiments, which y'all should go check out. And I know that I'm going to do some eco-dyeing, hopefully, you know, this week or this weekend, and I'm going to post mine too. Does that mean that I shouldn't do one because Martha just did a video on that? No, because we're using different plants, we're using different, you know, ideas. Because eco-dyeing is not an exact science, it's all going to come out differently each time. You know, but I let myself get caught into that sometimes where I'll say, oh, wow, I just went on YouTube and I saw 27 new videos on this topic. There's no reason for me to do one. But there's exactly a reason for me to do one, because maybe all the people that watch those videos aren't subscribers of every, you know, they're not all subscribers to all the same channels. So maybe although there's 27 videos on this topic, you know, maybe you only saw 2 of them and I could be the 3rd one you saw. And of course, we're all going to do things completely different. But, you know, we can talk ourselves out of anything. We just need to learn how to talk ourselves into things, talk ourselves into taking chances, talk ourselves into taking those creative risks and sharing them. Exactly, Nettie. The best part is the awesome friendships and amazing supportive people I've met through YouTube. I am not, I mean, you guys, most of you guys know, I am not an extroverted person. I do not go to, before COVID, I was not the person you would see going to a party or hosting a party. Going to conferences for writing was very stressful for me. I knew how to talk to people, if it was one-on-one, but I did not do that kind of stuff well in public. And YouTube has been awesome to bring me together with people that share, the same interests that I do and that want to be supportive of me while I am supporting them. It's been an amazing experience. And Martha, thank you. I'm glad I inspired you, and I'm glad that I could answer some questions for you. And then you gave me some, things to think about as well. So it's what it's all about. It's a giant love fest as far as I'm concerned, as long as you're hanging with the right people. Now, that being said, I have gone to YouTube communities where I didn't feel like I was supported, that I didn't feel, in fact, I didn't even feel like I was recognized, that I was there. And, I kept sticking around thinking, oh, I need to stay here because these are the people that, are making the kind of things I want to make. And it was like, wait a minute, what am I doing? Why am I punishing myself to hang out in this place where it's obvious that, it's not my people. It's not my people. And so I left those groups and just kind of made a conscious effort about what I wanted to do differently, hanging out, with my people. And it's been so much better for me. It really has. Not every group is going to, whether it's a Facebook group or a YouTube group or an Instagram group, not everything's going to work for everybody. Yes, we pass on what we've learned to others. And like I said, if you have not seen the Seth Apter, Tim Holtz thing, it's on, what I'll do is I'll post it in my community tab because I really believe it so much. There's not a single talk about go buy this, go buy that. It's not that kind of a video. It's about two creative people talking about what it means to be creative in today's world and the obligations that we have as creative folks. You might think, well, do I have an obligation? Tim Holtz thinks you do. Tim Holtz thinks that if you have a spark of creativity, you're supposed to share it with the world because you could spark somebody else. And I just love that idea. Oh, Brenda, I'm sorry. You don't need to feel invisible. You need to find the right people. I seriously think every once in a while about starting a Facebook group, and then I realize it's another one of those time commitments that I'm not willing to commit to because I feel like I wouldn't be able to give everybody my best. But I'm sorry you feel invisible sometimes. That's just a rotten feeling. Are you on Facebook, Brenda? Because if you are on Facebook, I would really recommend that you join the group, the Foxy Crafters, because you will not find a more loving and supportive group than the folks there. And it's a great way to share your work, to ask questions, to get support and to give support. And it doesn't matter what stage you're at. It's Tracy Fox's group, and it's just extremely supportive. Oh, Gina, thank you. Well, I've got a big video on that coming out soon. Probably going to drop next week. And it might create some controversy, so I might need some hand holding here after it drops. Let me tell you, I have been enjoying growing our friendship, and I'm just so happy for you in that new home. It just looks so beautiful and so peaceful. And there's something when you're not with your tribe. I had a Zoom visit with a friend the other day, and we do this once a month, and we always seem to do some really deep talks. And you talk about being with your tribe of people, where you can you can let it all out, sort of like, when you're with family and, you can put on your comfy pajamas and sit down and watch TV. And if you have something stuck in your teeth, they're going to tell you and they're going to laugh with you, but not at you. That kind of a feeling when you're with your tribe, which is what I feel like this is here with this creative community. There's nothing like it. You feel empowered to go out and create, or at least I do. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that series has inspired you guys. That makes me feel really good, and it kind of pumping me up to get the courage to do this next one that has to be done. Oh, Nettie, that's wonderful. Happy mail is something else. It can really brighten a dark day when you look out. When I got some the other day, when I got those yo-yos from Valerie, I was just like, whoa. She said she could send me a few, and I figured she'd put a few in a small little envelope, and she sent me gobs, and it was so sweet, and it just really kind of lifts your heart. Oh, Brenda. Yeah, you don't want to be the center of attention, but you don't want to feel invisible. It's a tightrope to walk, tight rope to walk sometimes. And we have to find our own level, of balance. I mean, it's not going to be the same thing for each person. Each of us is going to want or need something else out of here, out of, the connection. This little one, I should be able to do something with it, but just a little something. Yeah, let's see. I need some different threads. What else do we have here? I'm trying not to grab any sticks. I try to vary. Sometimes I'll grab sticks and moss and lichen to put in there, but if I'm going to sell these, I need to be careful what I'm going to put on them, because some of them can't be shipped if they've got the wrong kind of things on them. Let's see. And sometimes it's just, piling things on top of it and stitching them down, and that's fine. It comes out great. That's really kind of funny. Oh, let's see here. I need to go back here. Oh, Gina, that's fabulous. Wow. What better sign do you need than that? That is amazing. Brenda, you can never talk too much here. This is a safe spot. This is our bubble zone. The only thing I remind people is that I do leave the chat up on the replay, so people that watch the videos later, they can still see the live chat. So you need to always be careful about that, and don't leave anything up that you don't want people to see for all time. But I'm glad you feel like this is a safe place and you can speak up. Whoops, I just unthreaded my needle. You guys probably watched me do that too, right? And nobody spoke up and yelled loud enough at the screen. Let's see here. Oh, Janet, so I inspired you to make seaweed beach garbage. That's great. Thank you. But it's making you happy. That's good. Yeah, we should do the stuff that makes us happy. When I started cleaning out the studio, for the D-stash, and I realized how many materials didn't make me happy to play with anymore, it became very easy to get rid of them. It was like, nope, no joy here. No joy. It's time to get rid of it. Oh, Nettie, how wonderful is that? When that stuff happens, when it comes to you on a bad day and you realize that somebody was thinking about you and sent that to, that makes me happy for you. Oh, Victoria, that's great. Butterfly is your spirit animal. Seaweed beach garbage. Now, Janet, you know that name's going to be stuck. Hi, my name is Janet. I make seaweed beach garbage. It's going to be stuck with you for a while. Whoa, Martha, what the heck? What the heck was that? Oh, yeah. I was in a art group when we lived on the other side of the hill for a while, and there was a difference of opinion over an event, and one person that I thought was a very, very good friend decided that I was not her friend anymore, and then as a result, several other people decided I was not their friend. And man, I focused on that for so long. Finally got brave enough and unfriended everybody on Facebook because I just couldn't handle it anymore. I felt like they were all I knew they were gathering to talk. But yeah, let's go where we are celebrated. We do not go where we are merely tolerated. We need to go where we are celebrated. And here we are going to celebrate every single one of you that shows up, that supports me when I make the same darn thing week after week, right? I'm waiting for somebody to make a comment about that. Yeah, I knew what you meant. I knew you meant unfriended. Yeah, no, I know it's going to go well in your nautical journal. I just love the phrase seaweed beach garbage. It's so perfect. I love it. Yeah, one of my kits, I want to finish I have a nautical ships kit that I want to finish. Oh, so many things to finish. Way too many. Oh, yeah, and the breathing. That's right. Yeah, so I practice my heavy breathing, although the AI here at YouTube might, I don't know. Who knows? I don't know if it picks up on breathing or just the words. Maybe. So one more doctor thing. I have to schedule a new eye doctor appointment because I'm really having trouble seeing this stuff up close. And then I want to not go see anybody except for friends when I do some outdoor visit. I love it that when I had my physical last week, one of the things my doctor said is that while the weather's still nice, you need to take advantage of having some outdoor visits with friends because when winter comes, you need to stay in all the time. We would really like to go see my husband's parents. And, they live close enough. We used to see them, a couple times a month probably. And they're both in a high risk area or high risk category. And it's like, even if we've been really good for a few weeks, I don't know that I'm brave enough to go over there and take a chance. So yeah, I need my visit with friends. And then luckily hubby and I are happy being home. Oh, Brenda. Oh, that is a heavy load to carry, Brenda. I am so sorry. Wow. Yeah, and then when you don't have the people that you can count on that you think you can. Well, you can certainly come here and vent away. And I'm going to be sending you something when I get done. I was racing around this morning, so I didn't have the time to do it, but I'll be sending you that kit you asked for. All right, let's see. I need to set some more up here. Yeah, if you haven't interacted with somebody in my world, it's really hard because it looks like I have this huge friends list of like over 1,500 people, but so many of them were from my publishing world. And so there's some writer editor friends that I still keep in touch with and we still interact with, but so many others I got so used to watching for when their new book was coming out and when they were speaking someplace that, I keep paring things down. When I see their name come up on their birthdays, I take a look and try and decide, is this something that's going to enrich my life? And I think one of the things I have a lot of trouble with, Okay, let's pick some more fabrics out here. Is, I forget that we change over time. We don't need the same things in our life. It's like a lot of us in my age bracket, at least, are starting to downsize because we realize we don't need as much stuff. We don't want as much stuff. We don't want our family members to have to deal with as much stuff, when things happen. And I'm kind of trying to think like that as well. But 40 years ago, I was all about acquiring stuff. I wanted to get as much stuff as I could. So it's the same thing with people. Certain people come into our lives for a reason. I've learned some lessons, maybe not ones that I wanted to learn, but I've learned some hard lessons from people that are no longer in my life. Sometimes it's family members that we have to learn these lessons from, and that's really tough. Let's see. All right, let's take these two things here and see if we can find some fabric to play with. Even if all I do is maybe lay out some more to work on later. Hi, Jacqueline. Hope you're having a good day. Yeah, Brenda, there's just no reason, absolutely no reason to have negative people in your life. Hi, Diane. Welcome. Happy to have you here. Oh, Kentucky would make me very nervous, Martha. Very nervous. Yeah. Too old to waste time on people who don't care about me. Yep. Same here. Paper burns real easy. I am making these little nature clusters is what I call them. And they are just little bits of my dyed fabrics and little bits of wool, threads. And they're not very fat, so they work really well on a journal page for just a little bit of something. Often I'll put them on a page and then I'll put a quote next to it, or I might use them on an envelope. It could be a closure on an envelope or on a tag. Right now I'm kind of making a lot of stock for my shop. Here we go. I'll do this. So different sizes, and then eventually I'll start making them a little bit larger. But yeah, that's all right. That one's not going to work. I'm working on I have one of those little rolling carts that so many of us have, getting my little cart set up right next to me here so that this will be my sit down and kind of prep these throughout the week. And then I can sit down and stitch them up. I liked having those ready to go. Did not bring any green over. Hi, Taylor. Yeah, you cannot have a positive life with a negative attitude. It is so hard to teach that, though. Diane, that's so true. Yes, because of the pandemic and your health issues, you finally learned who mattered in your life. And that's, I think, what's happening with a lot of of us right now is, what matters. And it's important. And our values change. I think my values have improved. I hope they've improved as I've gotten older. I will admit, like many, when I was younger in my 20s and 30s, I probably had much more of a selfish mindset, and that wasn't good. I really don't like that color today. Today I like this color. It's important to be who we are. There have been times in my life where I really tried to be somebody else because I thought that was who the world wanted me to be. And, it didn't work well for me. I was miserable all the time. It created health issues for me. It aggravated an ulcer and some other stuff going on. And it was like, wait a minute, everybody else around me is happy. I'm not happy. I'm not happy because I'm pretending to be somebody else. I'm pretending to be something I'm not. And, you can fake it till you make it, but you can't fake who you are. You can go out in the world and pretend to be maybe more confident, but your core personality, you need to be you, because the lack of authenticity is going to show. And if you're a creative person and you're creating art and you are not being creative in a way that is true to who you are, it's going to show in your work, which is kind of why I think before the virus hit and I was kind of slowing down, I didn't want to do just another tag video. When I started realizing I wanted to kind of shift my focus more on natural fibers, natural art, working with nature materials. If I want to become known as an artist, inspired by nature, then I need to be doing more work in that direction, which is not using a lot of scrapbook stuff. And if I'm going to do it in my digital designs have to reflect that as well. So that when you come and see my work, you can say, oh yeah, that's Susan. She does that kind of work with nature stuff. But I was trying to be everything to every person, that might possibly, tune in to see, 10 minutes with me. And it was like, wait a minute, I'm not being true to my authentic self. I need to be true to me, and that's going to come across on the screen. At least that's the theory that I came up with. Okay, I'm coming back to the chat here. Hi, Pauline. Oh, I am so glad that you found that video useful. Yeah, I found that in an old book, that tip in an old book, and it just like changed my mind about stuff too. And I haven't gotten back to doing a lot of the things I want to with ironed on napkins, but I think it's a real game changer for a lot of stuff. And it works for fabric. I like using it with the fabric as well. I am here until 2, Jacqueline. So I'm here every Wednesday from 12 to 2 California time. You made a quick video, a couple videos holding your phone camera. That's great. Who really matters will be there for you in good and bad. Exactly. Okay, Diane just made me cry. Oh, Diane, thank you. Wow. Diane, you just said exactly what I hope. If you can find my videos uplifting and you like what I'm saying when I'm talking and I can inspire you, you just hit me. Gosh, I haven't cried in a long time. You just hit me in the heart. Thank you. Oh, thanks, Jacqueline. I'm a lot more fun now. I am a lot more fun now. New York time. So that would be at 3 p.m. your time, right? Martha, help. Martha, what time is it where you are? It's 1:30 here in California right now. I have to tell you, I am very happy with doing this via StreamYard. This was a whole lot less stressful than doing it through the Logitech Capture and YouTube thing that I was using before. So this is going tech things. I need to kind of get my my eyes under control here. 4:20. Okay, so yeah, 3 hours. So it'll be at 3 p.m. every Wednesday your time, Jacqueline. Thank you for the hug. Appreciate it. Now get your homework done, right? Okay, let's just see if we can lay some of these out. I don't necessarily have to sew them all, but if I can lay them out and I just leave them on my desk. And Martha, I'm going to hit you up later. If you're not available to chat, that's okay, but expect some notes from me. Let's see here. I'll do a purple. Even though purple's not my color, for some reason I dyed a whole bunch of stuff purple. I have no idea why. Oh, Diane, boy, been there, done that. 20 years ago, anxiety, depression, suicidal. I guess it's been about 25 years ago now. Rough time. And then to have the pandemic happening and dealing with those kind of issues must be really, really tough. I'm so sorry you're struggling with that, but I'm glad you found art journaling. and you are working with art to help you through your issues, because as many of us here have struggled with a variety of things, whether it's, mental or physical health issues or both. And we find that art really helps us work through the things, but also just, again, finding that community, making that connection with people that are interested in the same sort of thing. You're not alone. I could go sit in a room full of, biochemists and work on my art, and I would be completely alone because they're not interested in the same thing I am, and I'm sure not interested in biochemistry. So to be here and be able to create with people that have the same, creative urges that we do to express ourselves in a variety of ways, and that can recognize that we all have different strengths when it comes to creativity, and just to get that kind of love and support. I think it's priceless. I think it's absolutely priceless. I don't want to start with that. I want to start with some of this. Burlap is always a good choice, right? Oh, that's right, Brenda. I forgot it was for your purple journal. Janet's got dibs on the blue one, right? Yeah, it was a long time ago, Janet. It was, we'll talk sometime off camera here, but it was, I guess it's about 25 years ago. But it caused me to, make some choices, make some hard choices, and make some hard changes in my life. And now, I'm in an amazing place, and I could not be happier. Well, no, I don't think I could be happier. I'm pretty happy. Life is good. I'm, in spite of the pandemic, life is good. My life is good, and I'm a lucky gal, and I know it. So when I do these, I am not doing them with a particular pattern in mind. I just sort of start messing with it until something says stop. That's the plan. I do it until something says stop. Let's cut just a little bit off of this one. Oh, the alcohol inks. Interesting, Victoria. That's still one of my most popular videos, and I need to revisit that. There's all these need to do, want to do. I'm not wanting to shit on myself. I just sort of want to get myself back to doing more of everything. And my brain fog is starting to clear again, so that's good. Take that little bit off there. Victoria. Thank you. That is so sweet. Janet, I love your boss. Tell your boss thank you from me. I appreciate it. I appreciate that he's letting you hang with me today. Maria, hi. Happy to see you pop into the group the other day too. And I'm sorry you've been kind of swimming your own battles upstream, and I'm just happy to see you pop in here. Work is busy, but at least you're working, right? That's kind of what it comes down to, is like, well, we're glad to work, but wow, it makes things crazy. 50 yards of burlap. Whoa. I bought at the thrift store, gosh, I don't know how long ago. It's probably been a couple years. I bought a couple of like wedding tablecloth burlap, where they had like the burlap and then cotton or something sewn into the burlap, it was like burlap in the center, I think, and cotton coming down the sides. I got a ton of material for hardly anything. Where are you located, Diane? Yeah, happy to have a job, but gosh, the stress. And you're probably not able to do any crafting to speak of, right? This guy needs something, huh? But he might not be able to have a full piece of burlap. And seeing the burlap, you can also pull apart, and you can get those wonderful little fibrous threads out of that. This one maybe needs just a tiny bit of, I'll just do the regular cheesecloth. It's so tiny, you know, and you think, well, it's so little. Is it worth it? But it is to me. It's totally worth it because it gets just a different texture. I just love all the different textures. Oh, your husband brought me lunch. That's nice. Oh, you're from the Philippines, but you work with Arizona time. Oh. Well, you know, you could make, I'm not sure what kind of arting you like to do. I know you said you were just getting into journaling. You could make bags out of the burlap. You can, I don't know if you do shipping, if you do any kind of store things, you could probably sell it off because, boy, we use a lot of it, I think. Yeah, it's a great way to reuse things, Victoria, to look for those kind of, I have a whole bunch of Amazon bags from years ago where they used to come in this really nice material for huge objects that they couldn't actually like wrap up. And I've got those. I need more hours in my day and I need to work faster. Janet, lucky gal. Yeah, me too. My husband does 98% of the cooking around this house and he does the shopping. And yeah, I am very, very loved and very lucky. And he's very supportive of my artistic adventures to the point that I take over so many rooms in the house. And, you know, he's like, he's got his office. He's happy with his office space. He's got the place where we sit to watch TV. And he just lets me just kind of take over all the other places that I want. And I am extremely spoiled and very lucky. And we're going to celebrate 21 years on Saturday. And I want another 21 more and 21 after that. And we'll just keep adding them on, right? Because that's what I want. I just want to keep going. And so this is some cheesecloth that was dyed with, I think, my India inks. And so it's very stiff. It gives a really neat texture to things. Janet. That's funny. And Martha, if you're still here, you've got countdown for your husband's retirement, right? Is it next week that he retires? No, I'm missing. I need a little bit right there. This is slightly different, but I think it'll work. Your husband's how you got the 3 boxes of foil. Isn't it great? Once they know that we like this kind of stuff, when my husband cleans his office, he'll come out with something sometimes. It's like, is this something that you could use? And whenever I say yes, he's like, I thought that looked like something that you might be able to make something out of. Oh, Janet, we'll have to have a talk one of these days. I think we have another similarities story there. Yeah, I didn't trust it for a long time either. I did not realize that you could actually wake up every day and be this happy. It's like, whoa, really? You know, other people live like this all the time. It took a long time before I realized that this could be my new normal and I could be this happy all the time. And I am just so incredibly lucky and so happy to be living the life I'm living with the man that I'm living this life with. And he's just the best partner I could possibly ask for. You know, I'm not an easy person to live with. I'm, you know, scattered all over the place. I'm high maintenance in that regard, not high maintenance in the regard of, you know, needing fancy clothes and that kind of stuff, but I'm emotionally high maintenance. Not as much now, but the first 10 years we were married, boy, the guy needs a medal for that. This Friday is his last day. Oh, congratulations, Tony. That's going to be fabulous. Wow. Yeah, it would be nice if we could support our loved ones on this kind of stuff. Not quite going to happen, but it keeps us sane, which makes their life a whole lot better, right? As long as it keeps us sane, then they're getting to reap the benefits of us not going crazy with them. Let's see. I have some more little wool bits here. Brenda, I have a friend from my writing days that every time we get together, we have like a monthly chat and we get together and she says the same thing. You know, it's like, okay, so who's got somebody single they can introduce me to? Really, you know, I'm ready. Let me find somebody. It's hard. It's hard. My husband and I met online a long time ago and we were both kind of gun shy. We spent a lot of time making sure things were going to have a possibility before we went any farther. I'm not sure if I like that green. It's kind of bright. Let's tone it down. And a little bit of blue, but that's really blue. Again, let's tone it down. I love these. This is just some wool roving. And, you know, you can buy this pretty reasonably priced on Etsy. I have a friend that sent me a bunch of it. And, you know, so you get like a long hank of it, and then you can just pull apart the little bits of fiber to add to things. All right, what am I missing? I'm missing something that goes, I need more of the little sisal stuff here. Let's see. Whoops, did I miss? Hey, Margaret, how are you doing today? Oh, well, it's nice that he doesn't mind you coming and hanging out with me for a while, Victoria. It makes me smile to see you in here when you come. Janet, you and I are so going to talk later. Trust me. 10 easy questions. Oh, good. Easy for homework, Jacqueline. That's good. Let's see, going down, catching up on the chat. Margaret, what are you working on today? Did you finish your Ivy Newport class yet? I went over and looked at the offerings there. There's a lot of great ones, but I've got 2 Roxanne Evans Stout classes I want to finish before I think about something else. I'm doing good. We're just hoping today that our power is not going to get shut off for the high wind event. The power company said they're going to shut off a lot in the area, and so far we are not on the list. So I hope that we stay not on the list because, you know, it's just not fun to have that happen. What? And you can tell what I'm working on, Margaret, and I keep working on because I just love making these. Let's see. Oh, you're an earth science teacher, Diane. That's fascinating. Wow, Martha, 45 years. That is such a super accomplishment. Congratulations. That is wonderful. Oh, lucky you, Jacqueline. Wow. So you hit an antique store recently? I hit eBay and Etsy, but I'm not going in any stores. I'm tempted, though. A new antique store just opened in town, and I need a couple pieces of furniture. So I'm tempted to go see what they have. Yeah, ours took off via Prodigy. If any of you guys remember that way back in the day, that's how we met. Oh, master's in geology. Wow. Now, my husband, one of his majors was economics. Well, I look forward to seeing those altered paper clips, Janet. I like making those. All right, I've made a big mess here. And when I'm feeling like I'm missing something. Oh, threads maybe. Maybe some threads, huh? Let's pull out just a few, the green and perhaps all we have is green that's going to go with this batch. I don't have any blue, a little bit of blue. Maybe we can make that work. All right, let's see what we can do now if I can find my needle again. Needle and I have a couple of videos on dyeing fabric a few different ways. I have not yet done anything with actual fabric dye, you know, the stuff that it's made to do that, but I dye fabric with alcohol inks, with distress sprays, with ink tints, with neocolors, with paint. So I actually have a whole playlist on dyeing fabrics if you want to get some ideas. And what I really want to do though next is some eco printing because I really want the freezer space. How many times have you guys heard me say that? Way too many times. I want to give the freezer space back to my husband. Plenty of fish. I love it, Gina. That's great. Yeah, there's just so many classes out there, Margaret. It's hard, you know, and then there's, you know, of course there's the regular YouTube and then there's all the classes. But it's good sometimes to get some different ideas of how people are creating. And what I want to do, I have one class that's starting up in November, and I actually want to stick with that class at the beginning because what happens to me is I start them after they've already been going, you know, for a year. So I come in late. So then I don't get the advantage of having that, you know, community building that happens. Sometimes I'll do like a private Facebook group or a group on whatever platform they're hosting the classes on. And I would like to get to become more part of something like that. So that's what I'm going to try and do in November. But then I still have old classes I'm working my way through. Get these at some different heights. Yeah, sometimes the online stuff is crazy. When I was living in New Orleans and I was single, that was when the dating things were, you would call and leave like a voice message describing yourself, and I guess it was all like video. It wasn't video profiles. They were like audio profiles or something. And so then you would decide if you wanted to meet somebody by going through, you know, by listening to their audio profile and make arrangements. And I did that a couple times, and that did not last long because, yeah, they were some whack jobs. That is one way of putting it. Wow. It's a little scary in some of them. Yeah, the community building is a really good part of it because I feel like, you know, if you go in after, I don't want to share my stuff, you know, 2 years after everybody else has been doing that thing. So I'm looking forward to this class starting in November, which is with Roxanne Evans Stout, which is, she's a primarily mixed media artist, I'd say, although she makes books and journals. So she's got a class called The Bookmaker, I think it's called, coming up. And I'm looking, I need a couple threads. I need some threads. What will go good with, I don't have any purple threads, do I? This kind of fuzzy thing is kind of pinky purple. Maybe that'll work. That'll work. The nice thing about doing these little things while I'm here with you guys is I'm not thinking as much because you know, most of us do this. There are some people that do not overthink everything, but I'm one of those people that overthinks everything. And what happened here? Okay, you know what? I'm going to cheat. We're going to cut that off and we'll make a new knot. Yeah. And when I was in Louisiana, it was really hard to meet people that had the same ideas about stuff that I did. That's the nicest way I can put it. I would meet people in a coffee shop, and then it would be like 5 minutes of conversation and saying, oh, well, you want to go back to my place now? It's like, no. And it gets harder, to meet people. Same thing with making friends. I mean, not even thinking about relationships, but trying to make friends. I mean, in a non-COVID time, it was much easier when my kids were little because you do a lot of things with your kids. You're taking them to events and, lessons and school stuff. And so you get to meet people through that. And you're living in a neighborhood maybe where there's more kids. So you make friends, with the neighbors. And I found it very hard. I still find it very, very hard to make in-person friends because I'm not going places. I mean, like, again, when it's not during the time of a pandemic, but I'm not going places where I'm going to meet people. However, sometimes you can meet people in the most interesting places. And I don't know if Beth is still here, but my friend Beth and I met at the local library. And I had just popped in to check out their free magazines and their Friends of the Library book sale to see if they had anything I wanted for my collage stuff. And she was telling me about a collage class that was happening in the library at that same time. And we exchanged contact information, and we don't get together nearly as often as we might both like to. But gosh, when we get together, we talk for hours and hours about art and creativity and some about life, but mostly about art. And that was like, I can't even remember the last time I made an in-person friend that didn't have something to do with my kids. It was so nice. Okay, Victoria, thank you for hanging. Thank your husband for letting you hang out with us. We'll see you next week. That was so much fun, Beth. Yeah, you are still here. And what's so funny when we get together is we think, oh, well, we're just going to catch up a little bit. And then we look up and we realize like 3 hours have gone by and we haven't shut up talking. It's just, I'm so excited to see you either this week or next week. Yeah, Brenda, it's, I did meet some people here in town when we moved here because I went to a book group, and had I not done that, I would not have met anybody else in person because the houses, they're not like, when we lived in the city and they were so close together and you would see people outside. I mean, there's houses on the street, but we don't often, see neighbors go getting their mail at the same time or that kind of thing. Oh, Margaret, so you're going to be in the same class. Yes. Bye, Jacqueline. Thanks for joining. Hopefully we'll see you again. Oh, are you saying goodbye to Victoria? I wasn't sure. Maria, it's so hard. Yeah, and when you work so much and then you've got family stuff to deal with, where do you meet people? It's but then even when I had in-person friends, it was hard for me to make myself go out and do stuff with them. I just really, I'm going to go see another friend here locally today that I met through a garden group that I'm no longer a part of because I just couldn't handle that many people. But she and I have nurtured a friendship. So I'm going to go see her when I'm finished here. But it's hard because, a visit with friends, while it's wonderful to have that time, it's also, for introverts, it's also exhausting. So then you need to set up some time just to kind of catch your breath again. All right, I think I'll sew one more, and then this is probably going to be it for me here. Gosh, this has been a great talk today. I hope you guys have enjoyed it because I've sure gotten kind of energized and a little bit more confident, I guess is the word. I was going to say focus, but it's not that. It's the confidence that being me, being authentically me is enough, because we always, I shouldn't say we, women tend to, I'm going to generalize here, women tend to worry about not being enough. And as a result, then we fill ourselves with a lot of doubt, and we don't shine as much as we could because we're afraid we're not enough. And if I can sit here with you guys and chat about stuff and leave feeling like I'm enough, and maybe one of you guys will leave feeling like you're enough, then wow, what a great way to spend a couple hours to kind of fill up our personal wells in such a way that we are enough. Wait a minute. I need to go back here. Bye, Gina. Send me pictures. Yes, yes. Love seeing you here today. Oh, Maria, you're getting your house ready to sell. Wow. Are you going to move in the same area, or are you moving big move, little move? That's a huge thing. Gosh, I have another friend here locally from our book group that just going through that bit about selling the house and getting it prepped, and it's such a chore, and to do it during pandemic times, really tough. Oh, to Arizona. Oh, you're coming closer to me. Well, we have each other here, so it's not local stuff, but at least we have each other. Janet, that's fabulous. Oh, so that was your crafting buddy you were talking about, that you have somebody you can craft with. Yeah, Beth, you and I are going to get to that point again. We are. So Arizona, wow, that is such a huge change to go from Florida to Arizona. Have you spent a lot of time in Arizona, Maria? Penny, hey, good morning to you. Hello. Penny is in Tasmania, and oh, how nice that you were able to be. Now you're going to make me want to hang out here for a little bit more because you just got here. Yeah, I'm still doing my same things I keep doing, these little nature clusters, because they make me happy, and I don't have to think a lot about them, and I can have chat. We had a really great chat here today. Oh, Diane, but you do have value. And the thing, if every one of you could leave today with just this one thought, you do not have to do anything out of the ordinary. You don't have to do anything at all. You have value just by being here, by being on this earth. You have value. And then when you do your art, when you do your creative projects, when you, Diane, okay, you're teaching earth science, you are shaping minds. If you are teaching earth science, you are shaping minds to look at the world. That's a huge value. Huge value. Gosh, I wish I'd paid more attention in science when I was in school, because if you don't know me from other videos, I mean, I love my native garden, and I love my bugs and my microherds and all that kind of stuff. But you all have value, and you are all very valuable to me when you come in here and sit with me while I ramble about whatever is going through my brain today, and you pick me up and I try to pick you up, and we encourage each other. I hate that we live in a value-based society, and especially as women, we tend to add that to ourselves, and it's a weight that we shouldn't carry. It is a weight that we need to leave alongside of the road and look in the mirror and say, heck yeah, I am awesome. I am so awesome. I am all kinds of awesome, and the world is lucky that I am here doing me, because there is nobody else in the world that can do me. I am the only one that can do Susan. You can't do Susan, Diane, but I can't do Diane. I can't do Diane. Oh, Maria, I know family stuff has been going on for you for quite a while. So I'm sorry that's the reason you have to move. That will be a huge adjustment. Yeah, Janet, that's why we need to surround ourselves with people that believe in us, so that they can pick us up and we can pick them up, because it's very hard to do it for ourselves. It's continual work in progress. And I'm basically coming out of a funk now that I've been in for 6 months, and it's not been pandemic based. It's been based on other stuff. And that's all we can do is bit by bit pick ourselves up. If you can't pick yourself up, look around and see if there's somebody around you that needs picking up. Because if you can pick somebody else up, you might be surprised to find out it does a little bit of a lift for you too. If you can go out there and do something for someone else to help them feel a little bit better about themselves, about their position in life, about what they're working on, about, something as simple as an art project, which, maybe the rest of the world, it's not rocket science. It's not going to change the world, but it might change that person's world. If you can give them the confidence that what they're working on is awesome, it's going to perk them up. But you're going to find if you do that enough times, it's going to pick you up too. So if you can't pick yourself up, pick somebody else up and take them along for the ride. I know, Martha. Why? Why is it so hard when we have people? I mean, Martha, you and I, we have husbands telling us how wonderful we are, how much we should, believe that when people like you, when you tell me and I tell you that we should believe our friends that tell us that we're great. I don't know why it's so hard, but I think Brenda's right. There's a lot of negative comments from the past, and we carry that with us. It's baggage. We've got to let it go. Yeah, it's the standards that we set for everyone else are very low compared to what we expect out of ourselves. And it's so wrong. And we really need to find a way to make those mental shifts and say, hey, this is great. I did this and this is great. And tomorrow I'm going to do something else and it's going to be great too. And maybe it's not an art thing. Maybe it's right now I'm getting a lot of joy out of some of the plants in the garden that I've been trying to get some cuttings started, and I'm seeing new little leaves come. So that means that when the rains start here, I can put them out and I will have some new plants. And 20 years ago, I had no interest in doing anything like that. I wouldn't have even known where to start. And so I'm real excited and very proud of myself when I can look at that. And we need to acknowledge every small win in our life. And my small win may not be your small win, and that's okay. But you need to acknowledge that and say, wow, look at that. I did that. I made a nature cluster. I made beach seaweed garbage. I made a dress. I made a quilt. I doodled a flower. I made a friend smile. Those of you that follow me on Facebook know that every day around 5 or 6 o'clock at night, I list something that made me happy that day. I list something that made me happy in my regular day and in my garden day. And it does change your attitude. I've been doing that for, 3 or 4 years now. And it changes your attitude. It can't help but shift your attitude. Yeah, Margaret, at 79, I'm 62. You still struggle with the self-worth. I don't think, I know there are people out there that are full of self-confidence, and that's awesome. But I know more people that are like us that continually struggle with our personal value. Exactly, Nettie. Just the smallest act of kindness can change somebody's life. Ah, Brenda, don't cry. Yes, we are all so beautiful, and everybody is carrying something. I didn't know a lot of confident people when I was a kid. I mean, I kept to myself an awful lot. My arts and crafts was just basically a way to keep me out of the way. And I had a lot of people telling me, well, this is good, but why wasn't it better? So I struggled with that all my life until I met my current husband. And he spent probably the first 10 years of our marriage trying to get it through my head that, what I did, whatever I did was awesome. And that really, it took a long time for me to do that mental shift. I still have, I still have those days where they're not, I'm not confident, but it's a lot fewer. Jacqueline, you're not alone. I'm sorry you suffer from depression. There's so many of us that have had that struggle, and you need to Surround yourself with the people that are going to lift you up. Oh, Nettie, I'm sorry you were bullied. Yeah, the small acts of kindness can get you through that day. Well, you certainly share your big heart with everybody around you. You are so good at finding something positive to say when you see somebody else's posts. Yeah, Martha, I'm pretty lucky. A heart drop. I love that. That is a great phrase, Brenda. I do, Penny. I really do. Ah, free counseling, Maria. I think I missed some of the chat. I'm going back here. I wish I could give every one of you guys a great big hug today. This has been an amazing conversation, and I appreciate all of you sharing so much and supporting one another. It's exactly the kind of conversation I love to have, and I would love to generate that every week. So I'm not quite sure how to start it off to get to those deep points, but those are exactly what I want to see every week. Whoops. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit that. I'm still learning what the things are. Sorry about that, Maria. I am going to have to go. My voice is heading out of here on me, and I've got to make a run out to, like I said, just take some cuttings to my friend today. Penny and Margaret, I know you guys got here late, but I can't stay much longer today. I feel the love. I absolutely feel the love from all of you, and I am so grateful. Thank you for hanging with me. Thank you for sharing your hearts and supporting one another, and thanks for the thumbs up. And I will see you all next week, California time, noon on Wednesdays for at least a couple hours. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye for now.